Hey everyone, hope you're having a great day today. Thanks for being here. Today in this episode, I want to talk about one of the most common things that people struggle with, and it's this idea of feeling stuck. It's something that people describe all the time, and they often describe it as feeling like they're going through the motions or like they're on a hamster wheel. The same day in, day out stuff, everything kind of feels the same. I'm on autopilot. And the main issue for people is that they don't feel a lot of joy or enthusiasm when they're in cycles like that. And it makes sense, right? None of us want to feel like we're on a hamster wheel. None of us want to feel like we're going through the motions or like we're on autopilot. But I am venturing to guess that most everybody listening to this show has felt that at some point in their life. I know that I certainly have. And I can very much relate to the idea that there wasn't a lot of joy or enthusiasm in that experience. And there's a lot of reasons for that. One of the main reasons is that humans have very specific core needs. One of the top human core needs is a need for certainty or comfort. And we can understand that. We often are seeking comfort. We are often seeking certainty. It's one of the things that makes us feel safe and makes us feel like we can count on things, we can trust situations. So that one makes sense, right? But there's another human need that plays into this idea of feeling stuck or feeling like we're on a hamster wheel. And it's almost like it's in contrast to the first human need because it is uncertainty. Humans crave certainty and comfort. They also crave uncertainty and variety. And so we have these two core human needs that exist at the same time and also can feel like they're competing against each other. But we can understand how important this is because we all want a little variety in our life, right? Variety is the spice of life, is what they say. And it's true. We want adventure. We want opportunity. We want newness and novelty. So when people are saying to me, I'm stuck, I'm on a hamster wheel, there's no joy or enthusiasm, I can understand why that is. And it's because their core human need of having uncertainty and variety is not being met. They are really solid in the certainty need. They are lacking in the uncertainty and variety. And there are multiple other core human needs, but for the purpose of this discussion, we want to talk about how can we start to shift things so that we can get unstuck, so we can get off the hamster wheel, and so that we can all be in that place where we're experiencing joy, enthusiasm, excitement. I mean, we want some excitement in our lives, and I want to help people get to that place. So the first thing we can acknowledge is in reference to this core human need, uncertainty, variety. We can imagine that there are some things that we need to do to be able to incorporate more of that into our life. And it can be as simple as changing up your routines or starting new habits or new routines. It can be as simple as changing up the way that we do things in our life, maybe finding some new relationships, maybe starting a new job, whatever it might be. There are layers and levels and degrees to which you can dive into this core human need of having uncertainty and variety in your life. And I won't speak too much on that today because I think that makes a lot of sense. And we've talked about it in the past. We can save that for another episode. For the purpose of this conversation, what I really want to focus on are a few things that people can do to start experiencing more enthusiasm and feeling more aliveness in their day-to-day. I want people to feel like they can get off the hamster wheel. I want them to be infused with some of those high frequency emotions like gratitude and appreciation and creativity and enthusiasm and excitement. Like we want excitement in our life. So let's talk about 3 ways that you can change the experience of being stuck, being on a hamster wheel, and start to infuse a little more enthusiasm and joy into your day-to-day. So the first thing that is very helpful for people is to get clarity. To get clarity. And what I mean by that is get a clear vision of what a beautiful life would look like for you. What are your dreams? What are some big goals that you have? And this requires a little bit of patience with yourself because you're probably in the habit of not doing that. You're probably in the habit of being exactly where you are, seeing circumstances realistically, being stuck in your current reality. And I Definitely understand that. But what this does require is taking the guardrails off your brain, getting creative, and allowing yourself to dream a little bit. Think outside the box, think bigger than your current reality. Start to see some possibility for what you would want in your life, because this is the practice that allows people to break stagnation and stuckness. And you can ask yourself questions like, how do I want to feel in my life? Sometimes that's a great starting off point, because it's not always easy to know what you want your dream life to look like. You don't know the how or the what, but you can start with how you want to feel, because feelings are something that you can access at any time. They live within you. And when you start there and you say, okay, how I'm feeling now is stuck and stagnant and bored and frustrated and a little resentful. How would I like to feel? Well, I'd like to feel joy. I'd like to feel excited. I'd like to feel adventurous. I'd like to feel courageous. I'd like to feel sexy. I'd like to feel strong. Whatever it is, write all those things down. And then the second question you can ask yourself is, what am I doing now to feel those things? Write down all the ways in which you are trying to access those feelings. And if you can't come up with much, go to the second part to this question, which is, what would I like to be doing? So what am I doing to access these feelings? And what would I like to be doing? Because this is where you can start to dream, and you can start to think outside the box and get a better vision of what would a beautiful life look like for me. And then, of course, once you have more clarity around this, you have to start moving towards it, because action is what creates the momentum. I know that we can be stuck and overwhelmed sometimes when we're starting something new, but action beats anxiety. And even just small steps forward can create a lot of momentum in your life, so that you can start moving towards the feelings you want to have, the behaviors you want to be doing, the dreams you want to be living. The second thing you can do to start experiencing more enthusiasm and feeling more aliveness in your life is to raise your ambitions, team. Want more for yourself. Want better for yourself in your life. Raise your ambitions. Decide that you want a little bit more for yourself and for your family, for your friends, for your kids. And I'm not talking just about riches. I'm talking about true wealth. Wealth that can be measured in energy and vitality and health, creativity, imagination, true connection with people. I mean, really, one of the things that we want, another core human need, is quality connection. We want depth. We want richness in our life. We want aliveness. And it's okay to say that you want more. A lot of people are walking around feeling like, oh, I'd score my life at like a C minus or maybe a 5 out of 10. And I often say, well, what do you want? And they say, well, I don't know, maybe a 7 out of 10. Maybe I'd like to be a B plus. And I'm like, you want more for yourself. Want to be an A, want to be a 10 out of 10. Don't be afraid to raise your ambitions. Don't be afraid to ask for more. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you selfish. It actually makes you rise to the occasion, and it lifts everyone else around you. When you want more for yourself, you have a more powerful impact. When you have a more powerful impact, you lift up the communities around you. You influence your sphere. You have ripple effects in the world. And this idea that we are just comfortable at a 5 out of 10, I can't accept it. It doesn't feel right in my brain. I want you to raise your ambitions and know that you are worthy of having more in your life, more wealth, more abundance, more of all of those emotions that we talked about, those feelings, more connection. You are worthy of it, and you are capable of getting it. And then the third thing, the final thing, is to believe that you deserve it. And we just talked about this briefly, but you have to believe that you deserve it. You have to believe, first of all, that it's possible. And secondly, that you're worthy and that you deserve it, because you are. And, I go back to this 10 out of 10 example all the time when people are in conversation with me and I genuinely ask them, what would you like to feel in your life? How good on a scale of 1 to 10 would you like to feel in your life? And they look at me earnestly and they say, I'd love to feel a 7 out of 10. And I will look back at them and I say, you are so much more deserving than a 7 out of 10. You are so much more worthy than a 7 out of 10. You are worthy of a 10 out of 10. And they get it. The light bulb goes on and they get it and they think, oh, well, I didn't even think it was possible for me. And I'm urging you to believe that it is, because you are the creator of your own life. Your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, they are what shape your current reality. And if you can raise your ambitions, if you can increase and lift and raise your beliefs about yourself, you have the ability to create something different in your life. And I see this over and over and over again in health, in wealth, in relationships, in opportunities, in business, in finances, all of it. You have the ability to create something different for yourself. So back to those 3 things. Find some clarity. Get clarity and a clear vision of what your dreams and your goals are and what a beautiful life would look like. Number 2, raise your ambitions, baby. Get excited and want more for yourself and the people in your community. And then number 3, believe you deserve it, because you do. You do. Everyone does. Everybody is deserving and worthy, and you are no different. So get out there and start doing these 3 things. It's one of the best ways to get out of stuckness, to get off the hamster wheel and get into a place of momentum and action. So I hope this spurred on some insights for you. I hope it has you thinking about, how can I start doing these 3 things, or maybe even just one of them this week. If you have questions or you have topics that you want to hear about on this show, send me a message on steph@stephsaffer.com and I will cover it on the show for you. Thank you for being here. I'm so excited you're here. I hope you have a great week. And as always, thank you for being ready to impact. Thanks for listening to Impact Ready. I hope today's episode inspired you to own your impact and recognize that you are powerful. By elevating our energy and awareness, we can create exponential change in this life. If you enjoyed today's insights, share them with a friend and subscribe to the show for more. I truly appreciate you. Thanks again for being here.